Our chief guest tonight, the co-founder and CEO of Snapdeal, Mr. Kunal Behl, members of the board, Principal Scindia School, Dr. Madhav Saraswat, parents, alumni, especially the class of 1992 and 2007, present in great strength here this evening. Faculty, students, and members of our community from our city of Gwalior present this evening. Martin Luther King once said, and I quote, "Intelligence plus character, that is the true goal of education," unquote. And therefore, education isn't just to get you into college or a high-paying job. But education, the purpose of education is to be able to inculcate in you the ability to critically think, analyze, and solve. It is to imbibe in you the ability to learn how to learn. And therefore, an example of that, a subject that not all of us are passionate about, but certainly our chief guest is, mathematics and the algebraic equation. And the story about the algebraic equation is that it's not about instant gratification, but a systematic way of breaking down bigger problems and toiling to get to the solution. Einstein said, and I quote, "Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learnt at school," unquote. And therefore, knowledge is just not from your textbooks or your pedagogy or your curriculum in your classrooms. The impartation of knowledge is from the experiential environment around you. It's from those that impact you. Peers, friends, colleagues, faculty, mentors, that purposely and purposefully impact your lives in the days to come. I remember my school days, assemblies, school halls filled with young kids, young men. Young men who were not identified by whether we were from Tamil Nadu or from Gujarat or from Gwalior. Young men whose identity was not based on whether you were a Hindu or a Muslim or a Sikh. Young men whose identity was not based on whether you spoke Tamil or Marathi or Punjabi. All our identities were merged under the shared umbrella of our common Indian ethos and origin. And here in Gwalior, we have a wonderful example of that. Just below the fort, Fulbagh, where we have a temple, a mosque, a gurdwara, and a theosophical lodge. A constant reminder to all of us that India is a land characterized by her diversity. My great-grandfather, Madhav Scindia I, built that environment so that on a daily basis there was an intermingling of people of not various faiths, but people with a common soul. The thought always was that you should be recognized not by your name or by your faith, but by your character and your intent. And therefore the refrain in India, Anekta mein ekta, Vasudeva Kutumbak, the fact that today we are all bound by a shared destiny, that of the plurality of our diversity. Our diversity in thought, a diversity in action, a diversity in terms of our expression. But that makes me worry. It makes me worry for the children of today. How can we make them believe in these ideals when the reality that surrounds us is starkly different? How can we make them believe in tolerance when there is an atmosphere of intolerance around us? How can we make them believe in ahimsa when what we see around us is cold-blooded murder and lynchings? And therefore, if we continue to accept this violent imposition of a homogenized system of being, thinking and behaving, then our youth will not grow with the ideals of our founding fathers, but with the pettiness and the divisiveness wrought by this day's emboldened bigots. The India that we all cherish is an India that is free in mind, speech and expression. An India in which equality is an indispensable reality. That is our nation, our Bharat, our India, a nation of peace, a nation of tolerance. Gandhiji once said, and I quote, that if you want to cultivate a true spirit of democracy, we cannot afford to be intolerant. Intolerance betrays want of faith in one's cause, unquote. And therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we must understand our past to be able to build an iconic future. India's foundation is at risk, and it is up to the youth of today to reclaim the ideals of our forefathers. A lot of hurdles will need to be crossed, and those qualities are which we try and inculcate in all of you at the Scindia School. A healthy sense of respect, responsibility and reciprocity to deal with the world around you. And that in itself is a testimony to the foresight of our founder, Maharaja Madhavrao Scindia I, when he instilled the values of tolerance and open-mindedness, steering us since 1897. His vision was to educate and develop the faculties of our wards, nurture good citizens, steeped in a very, very sound value system and equipped with an inquisitive yet enterprising city. A spirit that was enterprising, which is encapsulated in what Kofi Annan once said, and I quote, "Knowledge is power, information is liberating," unquote. And therefore, one of the greatest role models in front of us today that exemplify all of these ideals, the ideals of hard work, perseverance, dedication. For these are the values that stand with us at every juncture in life. A man who at the age of 23 decided to blaze a new path, decided that he was going to be an entrepreneur, come what may. One who fought his way through many, many obstacles while staying true to his ambition. A man who understands that success does not come easy. He has managed to bring the marketplace to our doorstep, revolutionizing the nation's realm of online shopping. Barely in his mid-30s, with both Wharton and Northwestern degrees under his belt, he is today an inspiration for our youth. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Kunal Bahl, CEO and founder of Snapdeal. His decision to become an entrepreneur came about in December 2008. And when was it? It was during his brother's wedding, after the Ghodi was sent away, that Kunal turned to his friend and said, and I quote, "Let's start a business." His friend Rohit Bansal was naturally surprised, and he said, "Give me a couple of days to think about it." And Kunal turned around to him in his normal demeanor and said, "Let's meet tomorrow over breakfast and discuss it. Why lose time?" And that started a path that they both walked upon, moving from a discount coupon book for restaurants onto a mobile discount service, a discount card service that eventually transformed itself into Snapdeal. He has realized through his toil and hard work that entrepreneurship is a very, very hard path, and that starting a business is not child's play. Snapdeal today has gone from being an online discount service provider to an online marketplace. And today the company boasts of 10,000 employees and a valuation of $6.5 billion. But despite this roaring success, he has had his share of trials and tribulations. In July, they sold free charge, the Snapdeal-owned mobile wallet service, to Axis Bank, and even discussed a possible Snapdeal-Flipkart merger. But Kunal, true to his entrepreneurial spirit, turned down the idea, said he will reform Snapdeal and come out with Snapdeal 2.0 that will satisfy all his customers as well as his investors. He believes in taking his company to a flourishing new change pattern. And Steve Jobs, I guess, describes him the best when he says that I'm convinced about half of what separates the successful entrepreneurs from the non-successful ones is pure perseverance, unquote. Today, Snapdeal is recognized the world over. It's the Fortune 40 under 40. They have won the Economic Times Entrepreneur of the Year Award, the Ernst & Young Entrepreneur of the Year Award, and Kunal continues to grow within his industry. He's managed to hold his ground against international giants like Amazon. And now he's taking his project forward onto a new growth curve. He's dreamt of becoming an entrepreneur, and what a spectacular job he has done in a short period of time. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we celebrate not just the potency of his invention, not just the appetite of risk, but also the sweep of his ambition and the values that he stands for: dedication, perseverance, and hard work, all of which what we at the Scindia School inculcate in our students, developing the capability to compete on a global scale, never losing sight of our goal. All your life, my young friends, you've been taught to do well. But now, with this example, you must also remember to do good. Kunal has stepped in to find a solution to one digital marketplace problem. But there are still many problems left in our country today for all of you to solve. He said, and I quote, "Starting a company is like taking a girl out. If you overthink it, you'll never do it," unquote. So just as Kunal has, I wish all of you the best in charting your own course, independently and fiercely. As Gandhiji once said, and I quote, "In a gentle way, you can shake the world," unquote. Thank you very much.